Hello. Um, yeah, so I wanted to talk about a recent post that I came up with today and just kind of break it down for you guys and explain a little bit about what it means because the topic is very central to the type of work that I do as a career coach. So the post starts with a quote from Mark Twain, saying that the secret of success is making your vocation your vacation. So the idea here is that work can be fun. Work doesn't have to feel like work. And for so many of us, that's not the case. And I think it's very common for people to feel, stuck in a line of work that they don't really enjoy. And it's a common misconception that that's just how it has to be. That's the way it is. And there's really nothing that you can do about that. Or you might have some foggy notion that there is something that you can do about that. But, that's a myth. That's a lie. And it just means that you're just kind of struggling with the idea of making a change that might seem like a really impossible thing. So let's talk about it, right? We all have in us the potential to enjoy what we do for work. The question is, how do we go about making this change? And here's my answer. So think back over the course of your life and bring to mind the experiences where you most felt alive. What are you finding in common with those events? What patterns or themes begin to stand out? And the second is take an inventory of your talents and strengths. There are things that each of us are uniquely gifted at. And for work to truly be fun, it must involve the activities that you most excel at. 3 is, what do you most value in life? Autonomy, helping others, making money, freedom, the ability to travel, creativity. I mean, these are the types of things that often come up in my calls with clients where they're not getting enough of something that they know is important to them, and their work is suffering as a result. And there's going to be certain qualities and characteristics that matter more than others in the ideal work life, and that's just a personal thing. So 4 is consider how it might be possible to find work or start a business that incorporates most or all of the above qualities. Then put a plan together for how you're going to begin making progress in the direction of your new life and take action. So that's it. All you have to do is self-reflect, put a plan together, and then take action. It can seem like a really scary and daunting undertaking if you let it be, or you can break it up into small and manageable tasks that you're working on each day. And if you already know that one thing, if you had more of it in your life, and then you knew that if you had more of it, you'd enjoy work more, then I want to know about it. So, take the first step by stating in the comments what you'd like more of. So that's it. This is the how-to, right? And I know it's going to sound very simple, and it is. Now, is it easy? No, it's not easy, and that's why people invest in services like a career coach. This is the kind of thing that you can do on your own. It's something that I did on my own for a period before hiring a life coach to help get me through kind of a difficult period where I was really struggling at work, was very unhappy, and was completely out of alignment. And he helped me kind of overcome the fears that I had around taking this leap of faith and going out and doing something that I knew would ultimately make me happy, because I went through this process. I took inventory of what it is that I really like to do, working one-on-one with people and helping people, and knowing that operating in a space where it's closely related to personal development and professional development. I mean, these are subjects that are very near and dear to me. So So naturally, I enjoy that line of work. Now that's just me though. So, for you, what is it for you that is most important, right? And so that's the nature of how I work with clients. If they sign up for a 90-day confusion to clarity coaching program, that's where we start. I basically begin by asking a bunch of questions that are designed to understand, who somebody is, what they're all about, and what it is that really makes them tick, right? So when's the last time you had an opportunity to have a conversation like that? I'm always surprised at the reactions that I get from my clients when I ask them these questions. It's like they stop in their tracks and they go, oh, wow, nobody's ever asked me that before. When I ask them questions like, what is it that you've always loved to do? And, why is autonomy so important? Digging beneath the surface is very, very rare. The line of questioning works to help somebody get very, very clear on what's important to them, because we go in depth, right? So if somebody were to say to me, well, I don't like having a micromanaging boss. I like autonomy. The question then is, okay, so why? Why is autonomy important to you? And that's the moment where the work really begins, because the client then starts to digest this information a little bit and consider, okay, so autonomy, why is that important? And then they start to realize that they're the kind of person that's a self-starter. They don't need a lot of direction. They like taking initiative on projects and taking on leadership positions, et cetera, et cetera. And what happens is, over the course of this type of inquiry, people gain deeper and deeper levels of understanding about who they are and what they're all about. So once they have this information, we kind of put it all out there on the table. This is just one dimension, the autonomy piece. We combine that with a subject matter that they might be really interested in, or a specific talent or strength or curiosity. For whatever reason, I tend to work with highly creative people, and they always have these creative pursuits that in the past they were really, really into, right? So I've had clients that were super into creative writing, short stories, poems, essays, and stuff like that. What's interesting is that they're unhappy at work, and they're kind of struggling just in general. And it comes to light that these types of things that they've always had a passion for, they've forgotten, right? It's fallen to the wayside. So what happens is people enter the work life, work demands just go up and up and up. They get stressed out, and they just kind of double down. If they feel like they're falling behind, they just try even harder. And before long, that enthusiasm for life that they had before, when they were indulging in all these different activities that gave them a lot of energy and gave them life, when they fall to the wayside like that, it causes all sorts of problems, and they forget. People that were always into music, playing guitar, singing, making music, stuff like that, they stopped doing, right? And the miracles happen when they remember who they are and what they're all about, and they start indulging again in those interests, right? And bringing to mind the fact that they're really into music, or they're really into making art, or they're really into creative writing, or we're really into politics. It doesn't have to be creative pursuit. I had worked with somebody who told me that he had this passion project for writing papers. Like he stayed up late one night to write an opinion paper about Comey and the federal investigation, a while back. This was, big in the news. And he sent it to his friends and family, and he was up late at night working on this thing. And to me, that was, that was huge, right? Like for him in that moment, before I asked the question, that experience didn't mean anything because he forgot or he didn't know to consider, what was going on there, right? Like we're going about our lives, and all of a sudden, we get an idea, right? And for him, he was inspired to write this article because he loved doing this kind of thing in college. He was a poli-sci major, and so, anyways, when we remember these experiences, we can then do something with that, right? So for this person, he'd been working in tech sales and not loving it, right? Just wasn't for him. He did well at it. He was making good money, and he was getting by fine. It wasn't the end of the world, but he couldn't see himself doing it until he was 65. I mean, I think that would have been crazy for him to even fathom. And so that's why I took this on as an opportunity to bring to light some options, some possibilities. Now he's considering a career in politics, and he's relocated back to Washington, D.C. for the time being to explore this further. And as a result, he's going to be on a completely new path that is in really good alignment with his passions, his interests, his strengths. He's in the course of our conversations, it became clear that he's very analytical, strategic thinker. Okay, so with this in mind, we then look at job possibilities within politics where strategic thinking is important, where analytical thinking is important, where he might have a chance to write papers and do research. These are the things that he knows he's good at, and he enjoys. So that's it. It's really very, very, very simple. The hard part is just getting over the fear, right, of feeling stuck, and of feeling like I don't know what to do. What are people going to think? Everybody thinks that their ideas are stupid. If somebody tells me that, Adam, I've always had a passion for writing, it's always been my dream to publish a paper, but that's crazy, like why should I even bother? It's just so far-fetched. Like everybody thinks these ideas are far-fetched, and they're not. They're really good ideas. We all have some reason for being here on this planet, because there's something that we're meant to do. We've all got this greater purpose, and we're aware of it, right? We've got this idea, but because of conventional wisdom and societal pressures and childhood conditioning, lack of support, whatever it may be, we talk ourselves out of it, right? And this is true for me. I've always known that I wanted to coach people. I just really enjoy working with people and helping them make progress in the way of achieving their hopes and dreams. To me, this is like the most fun thing I could ever do. So when I'm on a coaching call, I'm having fun. Like I love it, and I'm getting paid for it. So yeah, so this is a great idea for me, except it took me a long time to take it seriously, right? So I knew this when I was probably 20 years old, before I graduated from college, and thought that I didn't know what I wanted to do. I kept telling people I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so really all that meant was that I just wasn't taking seriously what it was that I really wanted to do, out of fear of what people might think, right? Unconventional, career coach, life coach, unconventional, not safe, scary. People are going to, wonder what the hell I'm doing if I were to pursue this. So I didn't. right? Moved back home after college. Really struggled. Really struggled because I couldn't figure out what to do. I didn't want a corporate job. I didn't want to go back to grad school. I didn't want to become, a therapist or do a conventional route in psychology. So I didn't do anything, right? For a year and a half, I just kind of puttered around. I tried this thing, I tried that thing. They were all complete failures. And then I eventually just took a job for a drug company. I moved to Philadelphia, and I ended up doing exactly what I was trying to avoid. Corporate work in a cubicle for a big drug company. This was not my dream. This was not my vision. But there I was stuck. And that persisted for 6 years. 6 years of doing work that I knew in my heart was not what I wanted to do, all because I was too afraid to go for the thing that I knew I would be really into. So that's the obstacle, right? This is the challenge for everybody. How do I pursue this thing that I really care about that I don't think people are going to take seriously? Well, the answer is you just do it. And you stop caring so much about what other people are going to think, because that's their stuff, right? If they have a fear or a doubt about you and your ability to pursue work that you're passionate about, well, that doesn't reflect anything on you. That reflects everything on them and their fears and doubts and anxiety. So your job is never to try and placate other people, make them feel safe and happy and warm and have the warm fuzzies, because you're doing the safe route, right? Which is really another way of saying, it's like a slow death. They're much more comfortable with you having this, meaningless existence, which is really just, I equate that to being a long, slow, painful death, versus living your life to the fullest and taking chances, taking risks, being bold, and having faith in yourself to go and do that thing that you want to do. I mean, you only have one life. I mean, why are you going to beat around the bush doing work that you're not excited about? Why would you ever do that if you knew better? It's just this fear, right? And so I understand. That's why it is so hard to do these things on your own. My first career change, I did on my own. I didn't really stop to reflect and take stock. I just went for the first thing that seemed to make sense. People were telling me, "Hey, Adam, you're a good people person. You're good communicator. You're pretty business savvy. Why don't you do sales?" And they were like, you should go do something in business, like, So that's what I did. Tech companies, startup companies were all the rage in San Francisco at the time, and I left my job in biotech, took a leap of faith, took a job in tech sales, moved up very quickly. I mean, it was very well aligned with my strengths, my talents. And I was very enthusiastic at the beginning about starting on this new path and working for a cool, innovative startup company. That was really great. Except after a few years of it, I realized it wasn't aligned with my values, right? So it was a step in the right direction, but ultimately I ended up just as miserable as I was before in biotech and pharma. So another dead end, right? 5 years wasted, not wasted, but 5 years spent doing work that I did not love. 5 years spent dreading Monday morning, and 5 years spent just trying to make the week go by fast and trying to get to the end of each quarter and survive, right? It was survival, not thriving. Succeeding, being very successful, being the top salesperson, 2 years in a row, helping build this business from, when I started, they had $3 million of funding, but by the time, I left, they had 80 million of funding, and I played a big role in helping them get to these levels with the sales contributions that I made, right? So awesome, right? No, awesome. I was miserable. I was stressed out. I was super anxious all the time. I was getting depressed. Yeah, I was not loving life, and I was doing a disservice to myself as a result. And I tell this, share this because I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people. I know after talking with so many people that this is their experience. They're just getting by, they're just surviving, and Sunday night rolls around, they're like, oh fuck, I gotta get up to go to work tomorrow, and really not excited to go in and see my boss and my grumpy coworkers and do all these tasks that I could care less about, right? So anyways, this is kind of my long and rambling way of just kind of relating some experiences and ideas to you, because this is my world now, right? So I made this change. I hired a coach. I did some soul searching. I decided to start taking my hopes and dreams seriously for the first time because, I'm in my mid-30s now. I can't beat around the bush forever. I don't have so many choices or chances in life, right? So do it now. Better late than never. And so this has been my life for the past year. I've been immersed in this world of discovering your purpose, finding your passions, incorporating mindfulness as a way for people to understand themselves better. All the while I'm going through this process myself and experiencing the benefits, which is great because every time I experience the benefits, I learn something new that I can then share with people that haven't had that experience yet, right? So I'm trying to blaze the trail for some of you guys so I can pass on the knowledge that I've gained as a result. And I also want to serve as an inspiration to people too, because listen, I was in the worst of the worst situations, right? I've seen it all. Terrible micromanaging bosses, health issues as a result of extreme stress, anxiety, and the physical demands of the work. Isolation, not hanging out with my friends, not really investing in, relationships. Dating was being impacted. I was not in a good state of mind to go out there and have fun, be my best self, meet people. I was not loving life, right? And now I am, right? So this is possible. Anything is possible. Like, all you have to do is just commit to making your dreams a reality and then doing it. And I know, I see a bunch of you guys on the live here, and it's really great to be talking to you guys. I know for some of you guys, I'm preaching to the choir, right? Some of you guys have been already doing this, right? So my story is, you've already lived this experience, and I'm so, happy to get to know people like you that have been an inspiration for me, right? So I'm certainly not the first person who has gone through this journey. I just really want to take this on as my chance to learn everything that there is to know about what it takes to feel excited to get out of bed in the morning, right? And then be in a position to then teach and coach and help everybody else that's struggling, because I'm sure that there's, one or two people on this live that might be feeling that, like, they've got some crazy idea that, this pipe dream that if only the stars would align perfectly someday, that they could finally go and do that thing that they're really excited about. So yeah, so that's my spiel. Comment if you guys have any thoughts on this. Otherwise, just continue to tune in. I really appreciate the support here. If you know anybody that's, if you yourself is in need of some sort of coaching or support or whatever, just shoot me a note. I'd be happy to schedule a free strategy session. I've got a few slots open, still open for next week, and we can begin the conversation. Start having the discussion around what it is that you really want to do with your life, right? And how, and as far as making that happen, I can help you craft a very specific and structured game plan with steps, at each point along your journey to help you make progress immediately. So if this resonates with you, if you feel like this is something that you'd like help with, I'd love to help you. And shoot me a note, and if not, but if you happen to know somebody, right? Everybody knows somebody who they can't help but just complain about work and life, and everything just sucks, right? Their job sucks, their boss sucks, their coworkers suck. If you know somebody like that, consider putting them in touch with me, right? They don't need to suffer like that. I'm sure you don't like to see your friends suffer like that. None of us do. We always want to, we all want to help people when we can and lift people up. Yeah, I'm sure that you're able to do this in your own ways, but sometimes they might need additional support. So feel free to put them in touch. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I gotta run. We'll do this again soon.